Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lefty from 643 Productions back again with another video commentary, not a gameplay commentary. I am here in the camera. You get to watch me work and do what I do up in the microphone. Hello, creepy people watching out there. But got an interesting story, an interesting topic, I think, for you guys, because it directly affects, or it could directly affect, what we do here on YouTube. It could affect directly what you're watching on YouTube. Not necessarily this video, but other videos that you may enjoy from me or any of the many other content creators out there on YouTube in the video game genre on YouTube. And this story has broken recently, today as of this recording. It's broken today, but it's been going on for quite a while. And indeed, when I originally got into YouTube, when I originally was like, I think I could start making videos, and I started looking around at the community and what it was all about, I realized, I'm like, well, wait, because I started watching montages, and I realized that there was a big falderall at that time, and there still is, concerning using copyrighted songs as a backdrop for a gameplay montage, whether it be a sniping montage. Those are really those are in right now, or they were at least in. I don't know if that's changed, but regardless, that was the big thing, and everybody was talking about that, and everybody was worried about it. And then it moved on a little bit into people worried about posting gameplay and saying things that would offend Activision at the time in Call of Duty, and they were worried about having their videos taken down for copyright infringement because they didn't own the gameplay, and they didn't technically, at the time, have the right to post that gameplay and start talking about stuff over it and things relative to the game itself. And when I originally got into YouTube, I was like, wow, that is some strict copyright enforcement practices, or at least those are some strict copyright reserving copyrights. I mean, not a lot of people have seen the working end of a legal team that is searching to end copyright infringement in their own minds. But still, the very fact that YouTube acts as a watchdog for the music industry and the video games industry with respect to copyrights is something that worries me a little bit. It was somebody that has studied law a little bit here and there. I mean, it worries me, because I'm just copyright infringement. But here's the thing. Microsoft today came out with they revised their copyright protection of their own works. And I'll just read you guys one paragraph. This is from Xbox.com, so you can go to see it for yourself. Here it is. Quote, "On the condition that you follow the rules below, Microsoft grants you a personal, non-exclusive, non-transferable license to use and display game content and to create derivative works based upon game content strictly for your non-commercial and personal use. This license is limited by the conditions and restrictions below, so please read them. We can revoke this limited use license at any time and for any reason without liability to you." Now, before you get all upset, before you go crazy, just remember this is pretty much par for the course in terms of reserving copyright rights, reserving rights as the author of a copyrightable work. And just like if you read the terms of use for YouTube, for Xbox, for PlayStation or Sony, whenever you read the terms of use of a site, especially COD Elite, there's some language in there. Once you read it, you're like, wow, that's really, like, Xbox is saying here, yeah, okay, we're gonna let you post gameplay, but we can just turn off your shit at any time we want because we're Microsoft and screw you. And that is what essentially they're saying. But just remember, that's pretty much par for the course. They can reserve whatever rights they want. They can reserve the right to screw your firstborn daughter if they wanted to. It doesn't mean they can. They can try to reserve the right. It's all about, you got to get in front of a judge, and then the judge and maybe a jury will decide, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the thing. Here's what's worrisome. And I know Hutch has come out, and a few other people have urged caution here and be like, well, it's maybe not as important as some people might think. Number one, this isn't new. This is new, strictly speaking, in the sense that Microsoft just came out of nowhere and is the first company to ever do anything like this. This has been going on for some time. But here's my point. Don't let those people try to dissuade you from being upset about this. Don't try to let people say, oh, well, it's been going on for a long time and it's not really that big of a deal. No, just because it's been going on for a long time doesn't make it any more right. Copyright protection, especially on YouTube, with YouTube acting as a watchdog for all these people, judge, jury, and executioner, copyright protection, has, at least in America, especially in America, has gone way too far. Way too far. Okay? The Copyright Protection, or the Copyright Act of 1976, extended copyright protection for copyrightable works to 75 years total, or the life of the author plus 50 years after that author or copyright holder's death. Then, the Copyright Term Extension Act of 1998, otherwise known as the Mickey Mouse Law, extended copyright protection to 95/120 years. Again, it was a scaling thing as time went forth. Sonny Bono actually championed this law before Congress. Or the life of the author plus 70 years. The life of the author plus 70 years. Now, given that most people in America you live to around 70, 75, you're looking at almost 140 to 150 years of copyright protection. That's way too much. The whole point, the original idea of copyright protection, and this is the reason why I'm trying to tell people not to let others dissuade them from being upset about this, is because maybe this will be the catalyst that makes people start to realize, like, oh, wait a minute, that's some ridiculous kind of copyright protection. Here's the intent of copyright law in a vacuum is to prevent derivative works from being as popular or even more popular than their original work. We're talking derivative works here, like most recently, the Samsung Galaxy S3. Apple won in a lawsuit against Samsung concerning their phone, which looked a whole hell of a lot like the iPhone. And that is in a nutshell what copyright law seeks to prevent people from creating works that are kind of really sort of like the original, but not so much, and diverts by the mere fact of being a lot like the original work, diverts money away from the original author, from the original copyright holder, because that's not fair, right? I mean, think of it like this. Copyright law, copyright protection in a vacuum is meant to protect against getting raw instinct. Okay? Or raw instincted, whatever. But that's the best. Actually, I just came up with that's the best analogy I can think of. Copyright law is meant to protect against people doing things that raw instinct obviously did. But here's the thing, though. A lot of people like to say that copyright law it champions innovation. It forces people to innovate. But here's what they don't tell you, and here's what they don't talk about, is that when you extend copyright protection and make it absolute and all-encompassing to the point where some person can reasonably expect 150 years of copyright protection, you cease promoting innovation and you instead create a safe haven for complacency. Now, in the world that is intellectual property, there is no longer a need to innovate. There is only a need, you only need to innovate once, and then you can be complacent for about 150 years. And that fosters complacency rather than innovation. And that is a problem. So, yes, these sort of things have been around with Microsoft and other, Activision and other publishers reserving rights and granting, limited use licenses and stuff like that. But just because it's been going on for a long time doesn't mean it's any more or any less okay. It's still just as wrong as it was before, at least from the standpoint of when you create this kind of all-encompassing, extremely long and extended copyright protection, you cease championing innovation and fostering innovation, and you rather instead foster complacency. And complacency festers, and you get things and then that is overall detrimental to society as a whole. So copyright protection has gone too far, way too far, in my estimation. And I hope that on some level, this thing which broke, again, it's not really new, but the story broke today. Hopefully, now people will start to understand. They'll start to look and they'll start to think and be like, well, wait a minute. I read the what I can and cannot do with Microsoft's intellectual property. That's really restrictive. And if they so chose, they could go before a judge and probably win. Just because people haven't been sued doesn't mean it's not okay or it's okay. This is very restrictive. This is very oppressive copyright protection. And I think hopefully, again, it should serve as evidence to people that copyright protection has just gone way too far. I mean, 150 years of absolute protection, especially considering in what we do when talking about the gameplay and talking about the gameplay or using the gameplay as a backdrop. We are not even creating a strictly speaking derivative work. We're not trying to trick people into thinking this is a video game that you can buy from us instead of Microsoft. This is a video that you watch about the video game that you still have to buy from Microsoft. You can't buy it from us. You can't buy it from some guy that makes videos. That's the point. But under copyright law, that's a copyright infringement, whereas the original intention of copyright law was to protect against derivative works becoming as popular as the original work in its own genre. Like if somebody wrote Macbeth and then in 2012 and then turned Macbeth into a movie, it's like, well, wait a minute, no. You're driving money away from the original author of Macbeth. But here we are. You still have to go to Microsoft, or you still have to go to Activision. You still have to go to EA to get their products. You just see it as a secondary at best, more likely tertiary aspect of a video in a completely different media that in no way is representative of or similar to the original genre and media or medium of the original work. So copyright protection, long story short, I don't know how long this video has been. I've been rambling on for a long time, but hopefully it make you use this. Copyright protection gone way too far. And while this has been going on for a long time, doesn't mean it's okay. Hopefully this serves for some of you out there, be like, oh wait, yeah, copyright protection has gone really way too far. But anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. Remember, likes, favorites, comments, and shares via Facebook and Twitter do help me out. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I am out.